G'day and welcome to this video tutorial where we are going to talk about cut, copy and paste and the many ways of actually doing it. Off the top of my head, I can think of 6 different ways of cutting and copying, but I'll also show you some different quick techniques that you can copy and also move data around. But before I do that, let's first of all discuss what's the real reason why we use cut and copy in the first place. Well, we know that cut, for example, if I come over here to this cell, if I use the cut, what that is going to do is it's going to cut whatever's inside this cell, say in this case the number 50. Then I can come over here and paste that 50 in here. So cut basically is going to move the data from here to here. Copy, if I use the copy, I'm going to copy this number 50 and it will also bring it over here to this cell. You can do that with single cells, you can do that for entire rows, entire columns, can be an entire data as well. The concept is pretty much the same. But let me show you some different techniques of using the cut and copy feature. The first way is to select the cell. On your ribbon, you go to the Home tab and there is a Cut button. You notice now I have selected this cell. Now I need to tell Excel where to paste that information. So if I select this cell, once again I go back to the Home tab and this time I select Paste. So basically what I've done is I've taken the 50 out of here and moved it over here to this cell. Copy is going to do the same thing, but it's going to copy this 50 and then we're going to put it in this cell over here. So once again, from the Home tab, this time instead of cut, I'm using the copy option. Again, the cell is selected. I come over here to this cell. Again, from the Home tab, I use the paste button and it pastes the number in there. So that is method number 1. Method number 2, you can also use your mouse. This time, if I select this cell, I can do a right click with my mouse and then I've got the option to select either cut or copy. I'm going to choose the copy option. I'm going to come over here to this cell, select the cell and do another right click and select the paste feature. So you can do it from the Home tab on your ribbon or you can use your mouse and do a right click instead. Now, if you are predominantly a keyboard user, you can also use keyboard shortcuts as well. So the keyboard shortcut to cut is the Control key and the letter X, that is to cut. If you are going to copy, then the keyboard shortcut is the Control key and the letter C. I'm going to copy, so I will do Control C. I will come over here to this cell. And now I'm going to paste and the keyboard shortcut for that is Control V. So you can do Control X or Control C and then when you're ready to paste you can just do Control V. Now these 3 methods that I've just shown you would have been great back in 1989. However, we're a long way from 1989. We're in the 21st century. And there are far more sophisticated ways and quick ways of using the cut, copy and the paste feature. Let me show you some other methods as well. If I come over here to this cell, you notice I want to enter number 48. I see that 48 is sitting right above it. So another keyboard shortcut that I can use is the Control key and an apostrophe. And then press enter. I'll do it again, Control apostrophe. Basically it copies whatever's above it, it brings it down. So Control apostrophe is another keyboard shortcut. Another keyboard shortcut, a favorite of mine, is to use the Control key and the letter D, D for down. Once again, I notice that the number 48 is sitting right above it, so I'm going to do Control D for down. What it's going to bring down or fill down can be data, can be formatting, can be a formula. Basically, whatever's inside that cell, it fills it down for you. Now, if I'm going to do this entire row, I don't want to do this 5 different times. Well, what I can do is to select the entire row and then do Control D for down, and that'll fill down whatever's above it. Another quick way of doing it, let's say I want to do the same thing for these 3 rows. If you're going to do that, make sure that when you select the 3 blank rows, that you also select the row that it has the data that it's going to spill down or fill down for you in the next 3 rows. So now I'm going to do Control D for down. Like I said before, I can come over here and do the same thing for these 3 rows. If I do Control D for down, if I do Control D for down, you notice it brings down the formula, the formatting, whatever's above that cell, basically it spills it down for me. Now, there is another keyboard shortcut that will do the same thing, not down, but it'll also do it to the right. So if I come over here to this cell, I want to put in number 49. I notice that the number 49 is sitting to the left of it. So if I do Control R for right, that will fill to the right for me. Again, instead of doing one cell, I can do the entire column, select the entire column, Control R for right, and it will do the same thing to the right hand side. So we've just looked at a number of different ways of cutting and copying. However, what I've shown you was for single cells. What if I want to start moving entire columns and entire rows, or maybe I want to copy entire rows and entire columns? So let me show you another different technique. I want to take this column here, this data where it has Monday, the heading, plus these numbers. However, I want to put Monday in between Wednesday and Thursday. If you're doing this the traditional way, where you're going to use copy and paste, you would have inserted first of all a blank empty column, and then you would have used the cut and copy and paste feature. That whole exercise probably would have taken you maybe about 30 seconds. Let me show you how to do it in a matter of 3 seconds. So first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the column. Since I'm going to move this data, remember when you're moving data, you're basically doing the cut feature. I'm now going to bring my mouse or my pointer right near the edge over here. When I see my pointer change, I'm going to pick it up with my mouse, and you notice that the entire column is being selected. This is great if I'm going to now bring Monday, say over here, to this column where it says column H. And if I let go of my mouse, you notice I basically took Monday from B and I put it in H. So that's another way of doing it. However, my intention was to put Monday in between these 2 columns. So let me undo this and put it back again. This time what I'm going to do is when I bring my pointer over here to this line and I select this line, I'm also going to hold the Shift key down. So I'm holding my Shift key down and I'm going to start moving my data. You notice now you see a vertical line. That vertical line represents where you are going to insert in between columns. Like I said, I want to put it in between Wednesday and Thursday. And I'll let go of my mouse, and you notice it just moved and also inserted in between Wednesday and Thursday. I will undo this exercise, and I will show you how you can copy and also insert in between columns as well. So once again, I select the entire column. This time I'm going to hold not only my Shift key, but I'm also going to hold the Control key down as well. So I'm holding down the Control key and the Shift key, and I'll bring my pointer over here. You notice now my pointer has changed into an arrow with a little plus next to it, with a little cross. That little cross represents that you're about to copy something. Still holding the Control and the Shift key down, start bringing your pointer over here in between Wednesday and Thursday. I see that vertical line, and I'll let go once again of my mouse. Now what I've done is I've copied and also inserted a column in between 2 existing columns. Now the concept is exactly the same if you are going to move and also copy data between two different worksheets. So let's undo this. In this worksheet over here, you notice that I've got all this data, all these numbers. If I come over here to this worksheet, you notice that I've got my headers, but I don't have the numbers. So basically what I want to do is I want to move the data, or perhaps even copy the data to this worksheet. How do I do that? Well, first of all, I select the entire data. And let's talk about, first of all, moving the data. Remember, we are cutting in this case. Cutting, you're basically moving the data around. If I'm going to move the data around, I don't need to hold any special keys down. I just basically bring my pointer over here near the edge. I pick it up with my mouse, and you notice that I can see that the entire data is being moved. Now I want to start coming over here to this worksheet tab. And you notice as I start approaching the worksheet tab, it's not letting me cross over into the new worksheet tab, but it's basically just scrolling in the same worksheet. So what I'm going to do is to hold the Alt key down, and the Alt key down is going to allow me to cross over into the new worksheet. If I look at my lines over here, this is where my data is, and I want to put it right here. Again, let go of your mouse. What did we just do? From this worksheet, we took all this data, we cut, and we moved it over here to this worksheet. Now I'll do the same exercise. Instead of moving it, this time I'm going to copy and also move it to this worksheet. So once again, let's undo. Come over here to this worksheet. I'm going to select this entire data. This time, remember, we are copying. So I'm going to need to hold my Control key down. As I bring my pointer to this line over here, you notice it's going to change it back to this arrow with the little cross. And we said a few minutes ago that the little cross signifies that you are copying this information. Still holding the Control key down. Now pick up your data. I'm going to come over here. I know that if I go over here to next to the worksheet tab, it's not going to let me cross over into the new worksheet tab. So what do I need to do? You guessed right, you need to hold the Alt key down as well. So now I'm holding the Control key and the Alt key at the same time. It allows me to cross over into the new worksheet. And now this is where my data is, and let go of your mouse. What did we just do? We copied this data and we moved it over here to this worksheet tab. Now the concept is exactly the same if you are going to cut or copy data from one file to another, from one workbook to another. What you want to do is you want to open up the two workbooks and put them side by side. And the Alt key is going to allow you to cross over from one workbook to another, provided you're holding the Control key down if you're copying. And if you're not copying, you're just moving it, then don't press any keys other than the Alt key, which is going to allow you to cross from one file to another. I hope these tips were useful to you. Like I said, we've come a long way from using cut, copy, and paste. Nowadays, there are far more quicker and efficient way of doing it. Now go out and practice these things. Thank you for watching.